Good week of training for obviously a big game coming up.
Yeah, it's been a really good week. We've had more time to prepare this week, so we've had a really good week in preparation. We've been, managing a few things, with Chara being out, so figuring that all out. And Will Johnson also has been a little bit more sore than normal in that leg. He's played, obviously 8 90-minute games or so. It started to catch up on him a little bit, so he wasn't able to, completely participate. So we're managing that a little bit as well. So there's a good chance that George Fashive and Jack Jewsbury will start this game, and that our first choice D-mids will be out.
Good news in that that they've obviously played together and had a lot of time this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Will and Chara are two key guys for us, but we have confidence in Jack and George. They've played in games this year. They've played alone in games with either Will or Chara. They've also played together in several games this year, so we have nothing but confidence in them to step in and do a good job. But certainly it's makes it more difficult having Will Johnson and Chara potentially both out.
I've asked a couple of the players whether the last 2 games against Seattle in the wins has added confidence level. What do you think? They kind of dismissed that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's more played up from the media. That you gain confidence from beating a team. We didn't lose confidence either. So I think we're confident. Whether we'd be confident whether we won or lost. So we know this is going to be a really difficult game. So I think we go into this game very grounded, humble, knowing we're playing a very good team that has their backs against the wall. They have some pressure on them to get a result, to not go 8 points away from us. If they do get the win, then they get closer, 2 points from us. They're at home, and they're going to be really motivated, hungry, and extremely aggressive to win. So we're not taking that. We're not taking those things lightly. This is a very good team, and people can talk about their record recently. I don't really even look at that because they've had so many guys out. It's not the same team, and now they have these guys back in, and their record is because they had guys out. They were, before they lost guys to injury, they were one of the best teams in the league, and since then, without those guys, they've not been. And now that they have, Martin's back, and they've basically signed, 4 DPs, they're a whole new team. So, in some ways, they're maybe a better team than they were before they lost those guys. And they were one of the best teams in the league before the injuries and before the signings. So we're not going to fall into that trap of thinking this is going to be an easy game because they haven't won as many games recently, and thinking this is going to be an easy game because we beat them the last 2 games. I would argue it's going to be a harder game because they have 4 new guys and they have everybody back now for the most part, with some questions still with Dempsey and Alonso. But we're preparing for those guys to maybe be in because we know how important this game is for them. And I think because we won the last 2 games, and because of the position they're in, I think this is maybe going to be the most challenging game we've played all year because of all those things layered in. So we're definitely not, even though we're 5 points ahead, I'm not going to be favored in the game. But I think our guys like that challenge as well. And we have the opportunity to do something we've never done, which is won in the MLS era in a league game at CenturyLink.
Talking about some of their newer additions, with all the injuries, with all the changes in their roster, you haven't really seen much of this current setup of this Seattle team. What's your sort of impressions of them right now, and what do you expect to see from them?
Like I said, before they lost guys to injury, they were basically up there at the top of the league, and when you lose the players they lost, then you're not going to be as good. There's no team in the league that if they lost Dempsey and Martins, those caliber players, that they'd be as good. So since Martins has been back, things have changed. You know, they're back to the team, and then they've got Valdez in, and some of these other guys, Freiberg, and you know, a few others. You know, Torres makes them better defensively. I think Torres is going to be one of the better central defenders in the league. You know, so I think when it's all said and done, you know, they're going to be in the playoffs because they have everybody back and they've got a good squad. And you know, like I said, I think they're even better than they were before they lost those guys' injuries because they've signed essentially, you know, 3 or 4 DP caliber players.
Looking back here at your own side, how it's been a few games now that Milano's sort of gotten more and more incorporated with the team. How do you think that his understanding sort of coming along with the guys, and is that sort of peaking at a good time for this important game?
Well, I don't think it's peaking yet. He hasn't been here that long. It takes time for those little connections and chemistry to build and to flourish. But I think he's definitely making an impact. He's shown that. But I think it'll continue to get better and better as time goes on. The more training time we get with him to plug him in and watch video and to assess and analyze and, you know, to integrate him and to give him messages. You know, every week he gets more comfortable, you can tell, and seems like he's understanding more and more what we want out of him, and he's understanding the players around him, which is a big piece. You know, every player is different, and he needs to learn their tendencies and what they like and how they do things and how he does things, and so that understanding both ways from him to his teammates and his teammates to him is a big part of a player succeeding. So it's definitely a crash course for him coming in mid-season. You know, you see a lot of summer signings, and you know, a lot of them take time. You know, you don't see impact in that, typically that first part. You know, with him, you've seen an impact, but I'm confident you'll see more and more as time goes on, and certainly we're excited about, you know, the upside down the road in addition to what he's bringing now.
Darlington's citizenship is obviously coming up in the next few weeks. Does he kind of plays it down to us? Does he talk about that with you and what it would mean to him?
We've talked about it. I think he's excited about it. You know, he's excited at the opportunity. So I don't think he's thinking about it too much or focused on it. But I think it's, you know, when it happens and he gets his citizenship and then now he gets called in, because that's the other side of it. He needs to get called in. There's no guarantee that even with his citizenship that Jurgen wants to call him in. We hope that happens. I think he's, you know, good enough to get that opportunity. So I think once he gets his citizenship and then gets that call up, I think it'll probably hit him then that, wow, this is a exciting opportunity to represent my country, and you know, I hope it happens, and I'm looking forward to seeing it happen. And although I won't want to lose him, you know, during the FIFA windows, but it's great for him. I think it will advance his career. I think it might be something that actually pushes his level even higher.
Talking about the FIFA windows, Will Johnson was on the Canadian roster. When are you expecting to be missing him?
Yeah, and that's the other side of things. You know, when you look at, you know, the minutes he's played, coming back from a severe injury, a broken leg, he's put in a lot of, you know, shifts in a row on that leg, and he's gradually accumulated a little bit of soreness. It's nothing to be concerned about at all. But you look at the end of the year, you look at his call up to Canada, which he's going in. He'll leave Monday. You know, we need to be smart in managing that situation. I mean, you can even see a little bit, you know, if you watch in how he was moving the last couple of games, and you know, he's not completely himself in terms of getting around the park. You know, he knows that, and we've seen that, and it's, like I said, it's nothing to be alarmed about, but it's just a matter of him continuing to still deal with you know, the cumulative effects of a broken leg and playing 90-minute matches week in and week out. And he's done an unbelievable job. Our team's won with him on the field. He makes us better, you know, but it's that leg has gotten to the point where we felt we needed to kind of manage you know, his training a little bit this week, and you know, we need to make a decision on Sunday as well, and how we manage that, and then him going to Canada and then coming back and getting the most out of him when when it matters the most. And so if he's capable of playing, and his leg isn't hurting like it was hurting after the game, this last game, then he's in there. But if his leg's too sore and we don't feel like it's going to be beneficial for him or us to have him try to get through the game, we gotta keep those things in perspective.
And Liam Ridgewell, he was on the sidelines at one of the open practices earlier this week. Are you expecting him to be able to play?
Yeah, he'll be in. He'll be in. So he well, funny enough, he still continues to get a sore calf every once in a while from his broken leg that he had, many years ago. So these are extreme injuries, and the fact that Will Johnson's come back and played I think it's 8 games full out, is unbelievable. But we need to be smart here. Is he going to play 16 or 15 games in a row? That's where we have to be smart. But it got to the point where, and like I said, you could even see a little bit in the last several games, he's just starting to carry the leg a little bit, and it's not, like I said, anything structurally. It's just more soreness around that calf and those soft tissues in around the leg when you're coming back and just trying to get your body used to the load of a game week in and week out after being out for basically 7 months.
Thanks, Caleb.
Thanks.
Caleb.
All right,
Thank you.
guys. Yeah, have a good one.